Hello, hello. We took a small chase break, which I also ate. So thanks for dealing with that, Mikey. The East Coast correspondent passes it back to the West Coast correspondent. In my dreams, she says. Anyways, I hope everybody is doing well. I mean, I have to start the video again, like as if it's a new video, because in reality it is. The likelihood of somebody watching both of these is so slim that I have to do it. So, welcome. If you have had dinner by now, let me know what you have for dinner. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, tell me what you wish you had for dinner. I had tacos, just ate them. They were, I'm not gonna lie, they weren't that good. I wasn't very happy. But I made them quickly. There's no mess left over. Stuffed peppers Vicky had. I don't understand. I've already been on it that you just came on. You thought, I'm thinking you're saying you thought we just came on for the first time. No. While you were busy working, we were busy twerking. No. We were in a very bad court spiral that we are now out of. You made a chicken and gravy with stuffing, but your wife is gone, so you had no choice but to cook. Hmm. Didn't I thought you said you do most of the cooking, or was that before? I cook a lot. I've made the food ahead of time so that people would be able to eat in the house without me having to leave while I was live. But then I miscalculated creating the taco for myself already. So now, what? Streamlabs isn't broken, is it? Well, if it is, it is. I don't know. Guys, maybe don't overload it. This is like when we're working with something and then we fuck it up. Oh, look, it's working. It's working. You backed him up. Leave him alone. Okay. The judge is now dealing with an actual TPO. I have like never mind. Oh, also medicated paisley. This would not be a medicated paisley. You really want spaghetti? I would go with spaghetti. I love spaghetti. Anytime. And Mikey, I don't know if you answered the poll the other day, but didn't you have the poll question about if meat sauce or if meat was required in spaghetti? Did you answer? Is meat required in spaghetti, or is it rather a preferential item?
Have declarations have been filed with some attachments and text messages, and then there's affidavits or declarations filed by several on behalf of both parties from other witnesses. I reviewed all of them. I reviewed all the text messages and that were filed, and we're prepared to proceed. And so, Ms. Sometimes I will say, when attorneys are represented on both sides, sometimes they get together and work things out. And if that's the case, I'll hear from that now. Otherwise, we'll proceed for hearing. Are we going to go forward with the hearing?
I think we're proceeding, Your Honor.
Okay. And so then, and again, there's a number of, are you going to be calling any witnesses other than your clients? And I do see there's some declarations filed on behalf of both of you folks in the file there. Is anybody going to be called as live witnesses or?
Your Honor, I don't believe so. At least I don't. I mean, obviously it depends. This has been a little bit of a moving target. We have 3 declarations from Ms. Fox.
Right.
So I think if she testifies and comes up with or presents something new that we need to address, I think that would be the limitations of any testimony. But I don't see the need for any testimony as we sit here right now from
Okay.
my client.
So, and then again, there's a number of declarations there. Ms. Oberlig, I'm saying, I may have butchered your name there. I apologize. That Oberbillig.
Overbilling what? Talking about, Judge. Can you just shut up? No! Oh, I might have hit the wrong button. Oh, that was true. True fear there. Oh. Hi, Amby. In perfect fashion, I'm fucking shit up. It was going so well.
And
Ms. Fox's employment.
is Mr. Bartlett?
You see, I fucked it up. But that's okay. We're not that bad. It's totally fine. We're just right around here.
And a number have declarations have been filed with some attachments and text messages. And then there's affidavits or declarations filed by several on behalf of both parties from other witnesses. I reviewed all of them. I reviewed all the text messages and that were filed. And we're prepared to proceed. And so Ms. Sometimes I will say, when attorneys are represented on both sides, sometimes they get together and work things out. And if that's the case, I'll hear from that now. Otherwise, we'll proceed for hearing. Are we going to go forward with the hearing?
I think we're proceeding, Your Honor.
Okay. And so then, and again, there's a number of, are you going to be calling any witnesses other than your clients? And I do see there's some declarations filed on behalf of both of you folks in the file there. Is anybody going to be called as live witnesses or?
Your Honor, I don't believe so. At least I don't. I mean, obviously it depends. This has been a little bit of a moving target. We have 3 declarations from Ms. Fox.
Right.
So I think if she testifies and comes up with or presents something new that we need to address, I think that would be the limitations of any testimony. But I don't see the need for any testimony as we sit here right now from my client.
So, and then again, there's a number of declarations there. Ms. Oberlig, I'm saying, I may have butchered your name there. I apologize. That Oberbillig, if I'm saying, is that
Yes.
correctly? Yeah. Are you prepared, I thought I heard from Mr. Coker. He's just ready to proceed on the declarations that have been filed. Is that the same for?
Yes.
You have the same position?
Same for petitioner.
Okay. So go ahead. I'll hear from you.
There has been a lot submitted to the court, and I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to address the things that have.
A couple minutes. Hi, Hector. We're back to Miss Carrie. Hi, honey. I hope you're doing okay. What, Mikey? She's. This is a weird angle. I would try and recreate the hair, but it won't be as good with the green screen on. I've realized my hair is more of a liability than a help. But let's just keep watching and see what happens. Oh, you like the glasses? Thank you. They are so fake. And only a hindrance in my visibility, which is unfortunate. I feel bad for people with glasses. No offense to anybody with glasses, but it's very difficult to get used to wearing them. I just constantly put them up and I'm like, oh, yes, my eyes. I don't know why. And they don't even have fucking glass in them. They're just literally just the frames. There's nothing in them. I couldn't even handle the glass in them. I was like, no. So, uh, but they're not protective at all. So, literally just decorative. Decorative glass. Always done that. That's always been the case. And I'm never lied about that. I've never worn real glasses. I have better than 20/20 vision, and I appreciate it very much, and I'm thankful for it. But I do like the look of it sometimes. And so the most effective way has been fake. Well, they're not fake. If somebody needed glasses before I pop the lens out, they would be able to use them, but I buy them for $1.25. So yeah, basically. This one, I guess.
In response to the petition for a restraining order, Mr. Bartlett responded essentially two things. Number one, he thought that he was in a dating relationship with the petitioner. And number two, that he had given her some gifts or some.
What are we talking about? Hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Okay, now we need to get back into the real court that's going on. Yeah, humble brag that I can see. Yes, humble brag that I have good vision and good hearing. My apologies. I don't want to apologize for that. Deborah, hi friend. Um, okay, but who's the guy they're talking about? Because I see only the judge on screen that's a guy, right? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Listen, Jonathan, I'm wearing these as a prop because I am literally having a show at the moment. And I make no qualms about it. If anybody ever asked me, I've never not made it clear that I don't have real glasses nor need them. I just wear them for the look of it. And uh I think there's a difference between wearing a prop and if I wore glasses that had real lenses in it as a prop, I don't think that's any worse than wearing ones without lenses, let's be clear. But I think that it's like it's fair game to be honest about it. I'm the person here that is I'm the only one here that is allowed to act up in this court situation. Nobody here should be wearing fake glasses except me because I'm the only one with the no, I get it, Jonathan. And stylistically, not even that important. Like it's mostly just a slight fidget toy in a way. I need more fidget spinners. I should add those to my Amazon wish list, to be honest. Um, yeah. Again, it's just, and I'm not making any qualms about it. Shadow, welcome. We're just figuring this case out. I better put my glasses on so I can concentrate.
Loans. But neither of those things, even if true, and those are contested, but even if true, neither of those things entitles Mr. Bartlett to harass another person. Mr. Bartlett submitted a sworn declaration with attachments purporting to show messages from the last month of Ms. Fox's employment, but he omitted the messages from October 27 through 29, which were the important ones as far as Ms. Fox was concerned, because they detail an incident that occurred at the workplace where Ms. Fox felt that he was truly becoming unhinged. My client has credibly described a course of conduct, allegations which are supported by numerous witnesses. The course of conduct by Mr. Bartlett includes non-consensual sexual conduct and jealous, possessive, controlling behavior that escalated over time and culminated in this incident on October 27th, where he became angry.
Oh, fuck. This is again Paisley where, like, not doing your homework. It just literally bites you in the ass. So, back in the day, you couldn't cheat on your homework so far as to not know what was on it unless you really paid somebody. to do it for you and didn't read it over. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays you can, I mean, cheat in a way, like videos, etc., different things. So the way that I'm currently cheating on my homework is by, I'm not cheating, but I just don't watch these videos first for the most part before I watch them with you. And so I had no clue that the first 25 minutes of this video were shit, but they were. And then the now at 28 minutes into this video, there's allegations of SA and different kind of shit. And in my brain goes, God damn it. Paisley, if you had just watched it ahead of time, but is that really fun? Or is it better to watch me squirm a little bit? I feel like people want to watch me squirm.
With an off-the-wall conspiracy that Ms. Fox was somehow interested in a client, first things first, and that she was going to sneak off to an AA meeting based solely on the fact that this client had missed the proper meeting time with Mr. Bartlett. She came to feel unsafe. She told it's in the record that she told Mr. Bartlett not to message her clearly on October 28th, which was the weekend. Given everything that had transpired, she felt compelled to quit her job and seek a.
Okay, did you cut them down for tomorrow? Mikey, here's the thing. I literally thought about that, but did you get the one in the courtroom one that they transferred over? I was hoping these were not really good and you hadn't already cut something out. But I don't feel that bad because I did give you your video for today, so. But not really because as we've already talked about, you recorded it too. Do, 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 do. You like my happy dance, Jonathan? I really appreciate that. It's not fake. I literally do happy dances when I get subscribers because I still get an email. My channel is small enough that I still get an email every time that I get a subscriber, and it makes me happy. Um, Chris, thank you so much. It will pop over here. Squirm some more. Thank you. Seriously, that's amazing. And thank you again for all of your support. I appreciate it. I feel bad, Mikey. You do much more work, but you're gonna do much better. Think of this as like a preview. Just a sort of like I don't know. What are those called when they show it to like a special audience first? A pre-screening? This is like a pre-screening for the cool kids. That's how we'll look at it.
Restraining order. She had told him unequivocally on October 28th not to contact, excuse me, on October 29th, not to contact her until she was forced to block him because he did not stop. She has met the legal threshold of showing a course of conduct that is alarming, annoying.
Alarming and annoying. That's what people use to describe me so often. You guys are too nice. MB. It hasn't popped up yet. Chris Engelby, yours hasn't popped up yet either. I will do my dance too. And Shadow Knight, happy dance is absolutely amazing. I don't mean to. It's like real. If you meet me in person and I get happy, you see me do a little dance. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I love you and all of your gifts. You're so special. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Fucking Streamlabs is so late. I am literally gonna write it down. Like I'm writing this down at this point. I'm preparing to have to talk to Streamlabs in my office later. And at this point, I need to just hit that down. Oh, cool. Now he puts it up. You guys are so sweet. Streamlabs, that does not absolve you. I do not give a fuck that you just happened to fix it the moment I said that.
Harassing and detrimental, and will ask the court to extend the temporary order.
Okay.
Um, you know, the contact you reference, and again, I read all about what, and I think people have different perspective. What happened on the 27th, which I think was that a Friday? If I remember,
I believe so, Your
it's a
Honor.
Friday, and over the weekend, and on the 30th. Did you or Ms. Fox include, you referenced the important ones that occurred over the weekend. Were those included in any of the filings? And if so, where?
Yes, the declaration.
I mean, the email, the text themselves.
Oh, domestic violence. I was just dancing. I'm so sorry. Titty tatas, titty tatas. I'm sure you did. I'm pretty sure we're good on terms of YouTube rules and guidelines, but we don't have any guys in the truck. I wish. I I have met at least one of the guys in the truck, I think. I think. And let's just say he works really hard. I do not have anybody that works near as hard. Okay. But I would argue that the tape slash bra that holds these puppies up works that hard.
Not a description in the declaration.
Yes, the texts themselves were contained with the second declaration of Alicia Fox, which was filed.
Yep, I see it. All right, this one. Yeah, I see him there.
Also, again, unmedicated Paisley coming at you live on a Tuesday night, the 9th of December, 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, we have weather events happening everywhere. And we would love to hear about how things are doing where you are. If you could tweet us at, no, I'm just joking, but that is my weather announcer lady voice.
Thank you. Mr. Coker.
Thank you, Your Honor. So obviously, at any time these cases are addressed, the court needs to look at the legal standard. And quite frankly, without any argument, I don't believe Ms. Fox in this case has reached the level of harassment. This is an employment-related case. And what's interesting about this is, and what's nice about this case, or
Look, it's January. God damn it. 9th of December. It's the 9th of January, and yet I still can't fucking read. Hey, it's raining where you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It'll pop up soon.
disappointed about this case is by extending this out, we've allowed Ms. Fox to basically create 3 declarations. And I think it's important that in these hearings, look at the first declaration that she filed. She says, she makes this story, it's mostly employment related. It's related to her getting paid. And I think that first declaration was dated October 30th. And in that declaration, she makes, it's very important to her that she gets paid, that, there's
Hold on, we all want to get paid. Thank you, Tiny Piggy. Yay, you're so sweet. I'm so excited. Yeah, he has bad hair. Also, please be safe wherever you are. If you are in the storm path, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the storm path, please follow all instructions from related weather authorities and keep yourself safe, warm, and cozy. I don't know. I'm worried. I showed that storm surge video, but it's not that bad here. I'm not even close to the coast at this point, comparatively. So please be careful wherever you are. Also, yeah, this comes. Also, yeah, F in the chat for the hat.
Contacts, there's discussions about her employment. She wants to make $25 an hour at over for 80 hours every 2 weeks until unemployment kicks in. And then in one of the other declarations, I think it's her son or maybe her someone, her spouse or one of her children says, well, she was upset in October because she quit her job. So when we were at the first hearing, and it was continued by Judge Buckley noted that. He said, this looks like an employment issue. What are we doing? Well, then what happens is we have this cascade of, okay, how do we get this to what we believe is sufficient for the level of unlawful harassment? These are serious hearings. These are serious issues that the law is very specific on. And in the second declaration, so we get a second declaration. Actually, Ms. Oberbillig entitles Ms. Fox's first declaration as her first declaration, but it's really her second because of the petition. So we get a second declaration in December. And that time, we get an upgraded declaration. It talks about, and she responds to Mr. Bartlett's declaration, where he says, well, wait a second, we went to New York in September. I've loaned you money or gave you money. I believed we were in a dating relationship. And this is sort of to give his perspective as to what was going on, which is important here. It's not just one person's interpretation or one person's sort of belief or one person's declaration as to what they want this court to believe. And the reason that's important is because in the first declaration, Ms. Fox says nothing about going to New York in September. That's not disputed now. She went to New York for a week or a little bit less than a week with Mr. Bartlett in September. But in her declaration, she says, well, this has been going on since June. And that's in her first declaration that filed a petition. So she then can't hang her hat on that anymore.
Oh, they went on a trip together? Well, okay, vote in the chat. Does that make a relationship serious if you go on a trip together? 1, yes. 2, no. 3, I don't know. What do you think? If they went on a trip together, does that make a relationship serious? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. It's only serious if you have sex. Yeah, there was sex on the trip. Of course there's sex on the trip. 4, it depends. Okay. Interesting how my chat is voting right now. 2's across the board. Let's imagine there was intercourse. If you go through an airport, what if there's a flight involved? I'm talking about a flight. Each person got on an airplane and arrived at a destination. That sounds to me like a trip. I'm not talking about a fucking drive up the coast, or as we would say on the island, up island. Ugh. Yeah, driving up island is not a vacation, like not going on a trip in my mind. Like if you get on a plane, my theory is. And platonic friends are different. We all know the difference. Oh, cellulite yoga pants. Nobody's joining the Mile High Club these days. 2 people in the bathroom. The likelihood of that. Staying in the same hotel bed, I think that is a true definition as well. These are all important questions to ask yourself and others if you are meeting somebody from somewhere, some place.
So then she makes these new allegations. We look at her second declaration, then we look at her third declaration, which is actually the entitled the second declaration, but it's her third declaration. And then we get additional declarations from her children who live there. Well, Mr. Bartlett is creepy. Okay. What else can we throw in? Oh, Mr. Bartlett showed up at my work. One of her kids. Okay. Mr. Bartlett brought me chicken or brought me some Taco Bell or something like that. And then it's still sort of touching on this employment side of things. But then Ms. Overbillig just kind of summed this up. There is the email from October 30th or 29th that says, don't contact me anymore. Okay, there's no evidence that Mr. Bartlett has done anything after that. There might have been a couple lingering texts after that, but then there's nothing more. So when it was clear what was going on, it stopped. Now, what is interesting about the final declaration, and this is what's telling, and this is when I think that a court should look at issues of credibility, and the reason it's important to look at all of these statements. Ms. Fox comes up with, well, I'm going to throw in my declaration that I've received this phone call on December 27th. I don't know this. I can't prove it, but I'm thinking it must have been someone contacting me on behalf of Mr. Bartlett. The only reason that there's no evidence of that. So what would be her motivation to put that in? Her motivation to put that in is because she knows that she's got to disparage somehow Mr. Bartlett in this matter to make it sound like he is unlawfully harassing her. In fact, the matter is he is not. And I think if the court looks at all of these declarations as a whole, it's clear there's a misunderstanding. There's clear understanding now, I think. But at that point, when all of this was going on, there was a misunderstanding or a misinterpretation of what the nature of the relationship was. Unlawful harassment, what this court is bound by is a knowing and willful course of conduct directed at a specific person that seriously alarms, annoys, harasses, or is detrimental to such person, and that serves no legitimate purpose. The course of conduct must be such that it would cause a reasonable person to suffer a substantial emotional distress and must actually cause substantial emotional distress. Now, we have some medical information that there's some aggravation of some cyst issue, which I think is difficult to tie to any of this. But the fact of the matter is, again, there was a course of conduct that was related to what Mr. Bartlett believed was a relationship. And if you look at the text, there was they communicated. She accepted money from him. She accepted a job from him. She accepted a trip to New York from him. Now, again, and then it gets turned on its head. Now, what I think is, and this is getting into a bit of the minutia as I finalize my argument. In the initial petition, Ms. Fox states that one of the things she's concerned about, or that she's requesting, is that there's no dissemination of any intimate pictures. I haven't seen any evidence of any intimate pictures that are out there. My client hasn't provided any. There's been no allegation. There's been no evidence that he's possessing any or sent any. But yet, even though this is some sort of relationship with which Ms. Fox is denying initially, yet she's asking for this court not to, or to order that Mr. Bartlett not disseminate any intimate photos. It doesn't make any sense. It's consistent with what we have here. This is an employment-related case. This is a situation where Ms. Fox wanted to keep getting paid. She thinks she has an employment case. And if she does, that's a different realm. We'll deal with that in a different arena. But this does not rise to the level of unlawful harassment, as this court is tasked with determining at this level and for the purposes of a temporary or a restraining order. And so on that basis, we would ask that this matter be, that her petition be denied. Thank you.
And Ms. Oberbillig, I'll give you the final word here.
Thank you. Just one point, Your Honor. Mr. Coker indicated that once Ms. Fox asked him to stop contacting her, that he did stop, and that's just not the case. The text or the instant messages attached to the second declaration of Alicia Fox show that he continued to contact her, and it looks like 7 more times over the course of that Sunday. And there are no more, simply because she blocked him. Who knows how long it would have continued, but he did continue to contact her after she said stop. And that's all I have.
Okay. So,
Hold on, real talk now. I'm being serious. Do you think being naked in front of somebody makes it serious? Ah, my phone. Does that make it serious? I think to me that makes it a little bit serious. What even are lingering texts? What a great question, Shadow Night Wolf. Like lingering texts as opposed to meandering texts, as opposed to inappropriate. Like it's so, yeah, off base. Anyways, let's continue. Let's finish this case. See where we get. Hopefully, this is not the only case. Hopefully, he finishes it soon. The judge has that look on his face like, my God, my job is nuts. Also, that reminds me of the story of, oh God, I can't remember what was her name. I'll think about it.
Just a second here. Is Mr. Again, this is an anti-harassment calendar. Ms. Fox brought a petition for an order. A temporary order was granted. It's a hearing whether to determine whether or not the order will be extended or not. As indicated by Mr. Coker, an unlawful harassment is a knowing and willful course of conduct directed at a specific person that seriously alarms, annoys, harasses, or is detrimental to such person that serves no legitimate or lawful purpose. Course of conduct must be such as would cause a reasonable person to suffer substantial emotional distress and must actually cause emotional distress. Course of conduct.
Billy, I feel bad that I can see that. I don't know if I saw you before. If you are, did you try chatting before? I'm scrolling back. I don't really see it. Again, I have excellent eyesight, so that's a problem. But were you in the other chat? We've had 2 streams this evening. But we saw that, Billy. Thank you so much, by the way. Hearts and love and happy dance about super truths. Yay! Oh, see? You can't see your chat. We see it. We see that.
Is defined as a pattern of conduct composed of a series of acts over a period of time, however short, evidencing continuity of purpose. Course of conduct concludes any form of communication. So as I reviewed all the materials in this case, it appears to me that there was some sort of relationship, and maybe that's part of the big problem is that the two parties had different ideas of what the relationship was all about. But nonetheless, there was a relationship. There was a great deal of friendly and it seems to me affectionate text going back and forth, going back quite some time. I have a feeling that only a small portion of the texts that were provided to me was a small portion of what was actually sent among the two of them. Included on, and then that's all this came apart, as far as I can tell, on October 27th. And but again, I'm looking at the text submitted by Mr. Bartlett as recently as October 25th, 2 days before, as I read those texts. Ms. Fox was saying, hey, let's hang out. So at some point, so it seems to me like all those came apart in a hurry. And so if she was being harassed up until that time, then it doesn't seem to me like she'd be sending texts asking to hang out. And so then frankly, it was kind of a strange situation that happened on October 27th, but nonetheless, it was a flashpoint in the relationship, whatever it was, which led to kind of an emotional breakup. And I don't mean breakup in the romantic sense. Breakup relationships can happen to all sorts of relationships. If two siblings can't get along, or two friends can't get along, or what have you. But the relationship clearly took a turn on October 27th. And then, as far as I can tell, there's been no contact since October 30th, although there were a series of emails, or I should say electronic communication. I'm not sure that was email. It might have been Facebook, through Facebook messaging, but there was a great deal of electronic communication over the weekend of the 28th and 29th. And then some of it went both ways. Mr. Bartlett was wanting some sort of resolution, some sort of he was, again, I'm just reading from one, says we need to talk. Ms. Fox apparently wasn't, she did respond back and forth. It was a highly emotional exchange. Finally, Ms. Fox said, no, I don't want to talk. He did send some additional emails, but that's been it as far as I can tell. And I have no doubt, ma'am, Ms. Fox, I'll speak to you directly, that this whole situation is highly emotional and highly stressful. I do think that stress can contribute to other health issues. Mr. Coker said, well, it may or may not be related. And he's right about that. It might be. This has been a very stressful event for you, I can tell. And that stress could very well have contributed to the health problems that you're experiencing. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But what I have to look at and determine whether or not an order is appropriate is whether Mr. Bartlett engaged in a pattern of conduct that fit the definition that I and both Mr. Coker read earlier. And frankly, at this point, I just can't find that. I just don't think that relationship or that pattern that he exhibited before the October 27th, which appeared to be friendly and go both ways based on what was submitted to me. And then it all fell apart on the 27th. There was some emotional fallout over the weekend, which is not uncommon. That happens in relationship breakups. And, relationship breakups of any sort, again, whether they be two siblings, two romantic partners, or two simple, just two friends, are painful and difficult and emotional, but not all of them rise. They're not all of them rise to the level of harassment. And based on what's been submitted to me, I find that this one hasn't. And so I'm not going to enter an order in this case. So the petition for a full order will be denied. Having said that, I think that Mr. Bartlett should be pretty clear as to what sort of communication you want from him. So going forward at this point, if there's any additional contact, I could very well find that harassing. And I'm kind of looking at you, but I'm speaking to him. And so if there's any additional contact going forward, and again, I think that you can bring this back and we can take another look at it, because going forward from today, or going forward from October 30th, it might be a different result if this keeps up. But that's going to be my decision here for today, ma'am. Again, I can tell you don't agree with it. I respect that. But based on the evidence presented, I'm not going to find a pattern of harassment. And again, I also agree with Mr. Coker. If this is an employment case, I don't have any idea what it is, whether it is or not. My ruling here today will have no effect on that. That's something that can still go forward if you wish to pursue that. But that's what I'm going to do here for today. And I'll enter an order that today. And if you want to wait and get a copy of that, you can. Give me just a minute here. These new forms are ponderous.
This judge takes so long. He's not even judge buffering. What is no?
You'll need to go to the different copy machine.
If I could request that my client be excused.
She
and
may,
we can
of
get
course. Yep, absolutely.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Ms. Oberbigley, if you want to wait for a minute, we'll get you a copy of that order.
sure.
If you- Em, are you here for a case?
She's with us.
Thank you.
We can step back if you want. I just can't call the next case till the clerk.
That's it, yeah,
comes back.
and
That's
we'll,
right.
there's only one left, so.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Ms. Clevenger, Mr. Sechrist, can you come on the Zoom call, please? Uh, Give me just a second here. All right, give me just a second. So Ms. Clevenger, I'm going to swear you in. I'll hear from you. Following that, I'll hear from Mr. Sechrist.
Okay.
We will go. So Ms., could you raise your right hand, please? You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, yeah.
Can put your hand down. And then how is it you need an order against Sechrist?
I'm so sorry. Oh, what was that? Oh, what was that?
Said you're asking for an order against Mr. Sechrist.
Yes, sir.
An order was signed, temporary order was signed, and so I'll hear from you on why you think the order should be extended if you're still of that opinion.
Yes, sir. Well, I had on my experience working for Mr. Sechrist. And then I was asked to give another statement on why I discontinued working for Mr. Sechrist. And apparently found out about that. He had texted me trying to get information about his ex. I had said I wasn't going to talk about that. He continued. He said he was going to have me subpoenaed. I asked him not to contact me anymore. Less than 2 hours later, I get a phone call from the police asking for information, saying that I had helped his ex violate the order, but I was no longer his employee, and hadn't been for a while. But I don't want any contact with about any of it, about anything, honestly. And I feel like bringing the police into it was just another level of intimidation to try and get information from me in his other court case.
Well, what has he done specifically to you? if
It's the
anything?
intimidation. I'm a wit, or I was giving a statement for somebody else, and I feel like it's harassment and intimidation. And I there was no need for that. I have
I know,
nothing
but
to get
how is he intimidating you? That's my question.
with his words. If I don't give him the response that he wants, he threatens to have me subpoenaed. He called the police and had them question me. He didn't want me to make a statement, which was what the whole thing was about.
And what was the statement of what case? What sort of case did the statement involve?
It's him and his ex. They're in a court case together. I was asked to give a statement on my experience working for him. And then after
That's
that, apparently he had alleged that his ex had convinced me to quit, but I had already given notice at that point. And then I was asked to make a second statement saying when and why I quit. And before I even before I gave that statement, when he heard that I was giving that statement, it became very clear he didn't want me to. That's when he started messaging me, calling and messaging me, trying to figure out exactly when and I spoke with her and what I'd spoken to her about, and that I was violating the protection order.
You're not subject to any protection order. Let me hear from him, and then I'm
Oh, I
asking.
know.
So, Mr. Sechrist, can you unmute, please? Could you raise your right hands? You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. And go ahead. What's your position on all of this?
Your Honor, the matter that Ms. Clevenger is responding to is that there was a protection order that was issued in temporary phase for my ex to not contact anybody that I was related to, anybody with employment, or anybody in my business. That being said, right, Ms. Clevenger at that point, we were friends, as well as she is an ex-employee during that time. Right. And I had advised her that the protection order stated that Miss Zier, the other person in the other case, was not to respond to her, and that I just wanted to know if she did respond to her. And in fact, by her own submitting, it states inside there that I even said, I don't need to know the details. I just want to know if you talked to her and when in the last 14 days while that order isn't issued. During that time, I was also talking with Officer Hammond at the Tumwater Police Department, who was trying to say, can you get me the details of what's going on with this? So I can see if there was a violation of the other party's protection order. And I said, unfortunately, I can't, because Ms. Clevenger has told me that she does not want to provide me any information with Ms. Zier. And he said, okay, well, if you can give me her number, I can call her to try to see if I can clarify what happened. Okay. At that point in time, Officer Hammond reached out to her to do that. Now, by Officer Hammond's reporting officer narrative, he's gone and actually amended that now in the last 72 hours because of me trying to clarify with him, because he did not call to say that she had violated anything. He was calling to see if there was any point of conversation he could reference to the other case. So he did not try to do anything. And in fact, with Ms. Clevenger's request for me to not contact her, I didn't contact her past that point, and I stopped. So all we were doing was trying to figure out an inquiry on whether the other party had in fact violated their protection order. And this wasn't any attempt to harass Ms. Clevenger whatsoever.
All right. So, Ms. Clevenger, I'll give you the final word here.
Yeah, when he said that the officer had asked for more information from me, it says in the report that Mr. Sechrist had asked for them to contact me and so he could ascertain more details. Mr. Sechrist, his sole purpose of talking to the police in that report shows was for them to try and get more information from me. And I had no business with Mr. Sechrist at all after
Could
employment.
here's hang on just a second. Here's what I think he's saying. right? And either party can correct me if I'm wrong. There was an order in place with regard to the person who communicated to you about a statement. My understanding from Mr. Seacrest, part of that order was she was not to do that. And so the nature, let me finish, ma'am. And again, you both just let me finish and then you can correct me if I'm wrong. And he's saying what the police information was trying to get was nothing about you, just trying to see if that other party had violated any order was in place. And if that person contacted you for certain purposes, arguably that could be a violation. That's why the police were called. Is that correct, Mr. Seacrest?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Now I'll give you a chance to respond, ma'am. I know you want to say something, but go ahead.
It's not correct though, because that order is very specific that she could have no contact with anyone in his business or family or anyone related to him. I was not in his business any longer, nor was I his family or related to him in any way. I had cut contact with him previously because of issues that I had.
Okay. So, okay. All that may be true, but a lot of that may not have been known to the officer, which is why they were trying to get to the bottom of that and just to figure all that out.
And it was known to the officer. He put in the statement that it was that there was no merit to this at all.
All right. And did you used to work for Mr. Seacrest?
Yes, sir.
How long ago?
My last day was October 31st.
Okay.
And I was at his business for a little over 3 years.
All right. When was the statement made?
The first one I believe was in, I might be incorrect. I could look at my records, but I believe it was like mid November. My second statement was the beginning of this month, end of last month.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do here for today, ma'am. I don't know if you were listening when in that previous case I entered, I read the definition. I'm going to call it up here again here just a second.
Yes, sir.
Judge, what are you thinking?
It's a knowing and willful course of action directed at a specific person that seriously alarms or harasses or is detrimental to such person and serves no legitimate or lawful purpose. And so, at this point, I'm not going to make, Mr. Clevenger Seacrest, you're Clevenger, sorry. Seacrest did call you. He gave some context as to why and how. You explained what you did and how you felt and things of that sort. But I don't find that what he did rises a level of harassment where he's doing it just to bother you or bug you or anything like that. He was doing it because he has some issues that he needs to deal with and some things that happened. And he was trying to find out certain situations, but he wasn't doing it to harass you. He was trying to do it to figure out what was going on with the case that involved. So I'm not going to enter an order at this time. Having said that, again, I'll give the same lecture I gave a minute ago. Ma'am, you're free to submit any letter that you feel is appropriate. And if you're asked to if you feel like doing it, you can go ahead and do it. And Mr. Seacrest, if somebody, Ms. Clevenger or anyone else submit letters that you don't like, there's ways you can address them. But the way you don't address them is call them up and, get the police on them and other things like that. I mean, you need to be, again, I'll leave you with the same thing I left the previous thing. I'm not finding harassment at this point, but if there's any additional conduct, I will. You understand that, Mr. Seacrest?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
So for today, ma'am, this will be denied, but if there's any further conduct, or again, he should know that any conduct at all would be considered harassing from this point forward. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, sorry.
All right, that's it for today. Copies of the
Thank you.
order, or the denial order will get emailed to you both.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Hey, Donna. Thank you so much, Orlando Chiquita. Please be safe where you are. Oh my God. I did not mean to watch both of those cases, but look at what we did. We did. You guys, thank you so much for being here, hanging out this evening. I have to go batten down the hatches. Is that the term? It is. It is 5:30 here. The wind is now picking up once again, so I am going to make an emergency grocery list. You know those lists you make when you're like, oh, if I have to stay in the house for like 3 days or 4 days or 5 days, what groceries do I need? Um, Aw, thank you, Shadow Night Wolf. You're so sweet. Tiny Piggy too. You guys hanging out here. I love it. Everything I again, listen, if I once I get settled in, you know what I mean? Like, uh, I I've got my diamond kits. We got diamond kits. As soon as I get all the food and shit that we need until we for a couple days, we're good. Yeah, Donna, I'm scared for you. I showed at the beginning of the stream. If you didn't watch it at the beginning, go back to the very beginning of the stream and watch the video of the island that I live on getting a storm surge because it is nuts. I am not going to go near there. And don't worry, I don't get cabin fever. I know, just don't lose internet. Please be safe though, you guys. Courtney, please be safe. Listen, I'm gonna go quick. I'll get her done. Maybe I'll come diamond paint later if the internet remains. I don't know though. Reminder that you're all very special. That's a special alert. Special alert, you're all special. But no, more important, no, no. I've been watching a lot of Australian videos. No. Seriously, please stay safe. Remember that I love you. I'm proud of you. And I will see you tomorrow or in the next video. I love you guys. Bye. Chris Engelby, you're so sweet. Making me dance again. Okay, bye. Love ya.